Oh, hey, yo, how you doing? Today, we talk about air miles,
recessions,
and what not to do. And it all starts now.
Innovation is in our veins. Soon the whole world will know our names. Sharing our knowledge and freedom reign. We here for the people, you know it's our way. Setting foundations is part of the dream. It doesn't matter if you're new to the game. Listen up now, cause we all gon' say, elevate, 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 higher. Elevate, 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 higher. We gon' rise up, we all gon' shine. Work through adversity, stay on the grind. Elevate, elevate, this is our time. Elevate, elevate.
Welcome to Elevate Podcast, everyone. It's so great to have you all on one more time. It's your boy, Josh
Dalton.
And we have a lot to get into today, but we're excited to be with you.
Back for another week, dog. It's been a long time since the last recording.
Yeah.
It's a week and a half now.
Yeah, we're rocking it. It's and that recording is doing very well these days.
That was a great episode.
Yeah, we loved having
People
Kronk
like
on.
that. Yeah,
they did. They're feeling it. They
at least like to comment on it.
Yeah, that's true. And we all know that everyone has their feelings about Cortland Kronk. Cortland. No, Cortland. Yeah, Cortland. I always mess with it. I'm like, oh my God, it's two last names, man. I'm sorry. But no, it was good to have him on and chat with him.
Yeah.
He enjoyed his time and he enjoyed coming on and he enjoyed the vibes.
Yeah.
So.
And they were troopers making the drive down. So
yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, it's not true. Not a short trip by any stretch of imagination.
No.
But today we got a lot to get into. We want to chat through some things that are on a lot of people's minds these days. Recession, anybody?
Anyone feeling like a recession?
Yeah.
Want to lose all their money and their home's value?
Anyone else feeling that today? Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
What's important to talk about?
Yeah, very important to talk about, important to get into, and very intrigued by it all, obviously.
And not so importantly, air miles.
Yeah, obviously, you got to talk about those things too. Shout out the air miles. Taking a dive. But yeah, we're going to get touching all of it today just to really get into Dalton and I obviously have never, as adults, been through a deep recession or depression.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of research and studying and what we are setting ourselves up to do. We're going to share that with you today. And we're also going to share about what you can do to kind of prepare for what's coming here. As those who are even been looking at real estate even lately, things are flattening and things are regressing in a lot of ways too. It's very interesting. As someone who is currently in the market to purchase, things are sliding back down. It's intriguing to watch.
Yeah, it's the overdue softening for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
the relief we don't all
every drip must come to an end.
Yeah,
you know.
And those who bought in the past 4 or 5 months, 6 months, well, I'm sorry. It's about you bought at the top. I'm sorry, dog.
Yeah.
But hopefully you're staying in your house the next 10 years. So
that's right. If you bought for the long term and you didn't stretch yourself out, you should be okay.
Yeah.
I just know a lot of people bought what they were qualified for, and a shoelace could have been qualified for a mortgage, 6 months ago.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's
yeah, and to those who stretched for that income property, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. So, anyways, first off, air miles. Breaking news here in Nova Scotia.
Interesting. This is the type of news that just gets like 40 to 60-year-old Nova Scotians right off the rocker.
40 to 60, specifically that bracket.
Yeah, they love their points programs, man.
They do.
They do. And to get that screwed up.
Not a fan. I remember I worked at Sears, man. They love their friggin' Sears cards.
They do.
Oh, very much.
They do, man.
Holy jumping.
I know. And this is an interesting replacement of Scene Plus.
Yeah. So
Sobeys.
It's being reported from Halifax Retails on Twitter. Sobeys and Lawtons will be dropping air miles later this year in favor of Scene Plus, Scene Points. As for me personally, I'm happy about it.
Me too.
Because I actually use Scene Plus. Air Miles is probably the most useless program I think is out there.
Yeah.
It was a cool thing in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it just kept dying.
They just kept making it worse.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you had to pick cash versus
point
air miles, and then they were worth less. And then it's like once Empire they merged with Cineplex, or they obviously bought into Cineplex. Right, like
Empire sold
to Cineplex.
Yes, yeah, it would have been Sobeys. No, Sobeys owned Empire. They sold to Scotiabank.
Right.
Yeah,
and the other one's to Cineplex. Right.
Yeah, sold the they sold the Cineplex. They ended up partnering with Scotiabank.
Right.
So, yeah.
So they've obviously been introduced to that scene ecosystem
Yeah.
at that time of that sale.
Yeah.
And it's probably like, I wonder how long they've been thinking we gotta axe Air Miles.
Yeah.
But
Dude.
there's so many Air Miles credit cards.
There are.
There's so many.
still
like
are.
every bank offers one.
Yeah, dude. And I still don't get why. It's like, it sucks. It's such a terrible program. Like,
I agree. Maybe every bank doesn't. Maybe actually, now that I think of it, I feel like less and less are.
yeah, it's more, I think Aeroplan is the one that a lot of banks are using.
Yeah. Which
Aeroplan's
is
one.
a much more solid program than
Yeah.
Air Miles.
Yeah, exactly. Like, anytime, like, obviously going to Irving, right?
Yeah.
Go to Air Miles. Like, bro, I'm not touching no Air Miles.
I have a card on my Apple Wallet. I don't know where they go.
Yeah, me either.
It's just my old card. Like, I don't know how to get in, but I show it.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a bunch of points on there. I have no idea how many.
yeah, and I don't know what they're good for either.
Yeah.
Like,
It's probably as much as
I remember one time my mom literally, like, they logged into their Air Miles and it was random. There was a bunch of points, and it was like an ungodly amount of points. And they thought, oh, that's sick. Like, maybe we'll get a flight or two out of it. It afforded a blow up dinghy boat that fit one person. That's what they got.
a blow up dinghy boat, eh?
That was it.
Did it even come with a motor or something like that?
Paddles, baby.
Paddles, baby.
No, you motor? Are you crazy?
Yeah, you paid a lot of money for these Air Miles, man.
And you can buy Air Miles.
You can.
That's crazy.
So stupid.
You use cash to buy something that they can change the value of arbitrarily.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't like point credit cards aside from like
Dude.
the Aeroplan or the Amex points are the only 2 points programs that I'm down for.
Yeah, I hate the programs altogether. I only roll with them because if they align with my regular shopping habits, I'll use them.
Yes.
But like, it's not like something I go out of my way to use. Like, for example, like PC Points, pretty decent program.
Yeah. I've redeemed those the most.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. And I'm like, yeah, like I shop at Superstore.
Great.
Like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm not going out. Even like because you get certain points for whatever specifically you buy.
Yeah.
If the points line up with what I usually buy, then cool. If they don't, I'm not gonna buy more stuff just to get the points.
Yeah, like,
it's useless.
There's people who will plan their grocery orders strategically around like what's available in the app, and it's like
I'm not. It works for some people, not for me.
right now. Actually, I kind of understand it because if you can get a deal on groceries, take the deal on groceries.
Good point.
But before this, we went to Shoppers Drug Mart on Lair Utah Boulevard, and where the bread is empty. There was one stacked thing of the blue bread trays. That was all the bread in the entire store.
Really?
I was like, like Shoppers is on its way to not having bread because they probably want to fill the bigger stores. I don't know.
Interesting.
Just weird. All week there's been no bread. You can get one bread delivery.
Huh. Actually, I didn't even know Shoppers sold bread.
Oh, dude, Shoppers sells everything. In Toronto, Shoppers has produce and like meat.
Really?
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to Toronto, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I went to Shoppers because I needed deodorant, and there was full groceries, like vegetables. It was crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shoppers evolving, eh?
Yeah. But
wow.
that was the first like big scare. I was like, maybe food shortage is coming like quicker than anticipated.
True. Sorry, I'm just looking at
No, what is it?
The first comment on this.
This one?
The Air Miles tweet. Ugh, I can use Air Miles for groceries, gas. No interest in going to movies when life is already this expensive. Short-sighted move on their part. Here you go. Here's the 40 to 60-year-olds.
All I
boys.
know is Montana's offer scene points, and
They do.
Montana's is my go-to restaurant because it's right by the theater.
Oh, dude.
So you literally get scene points and you can go to the movies. That's so strategically placed.
Oh, of course. I mean, I friggin' hate Montana's.
Really?
Dude, I hate Montana so
I mean,
much.
it's cringy on the inside. Like it's all like.
Yeah, all the food is like just screams microwavable to me.
Really?
Everything just feels like they just throw it in the microwave and just nuke it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of their food. And I'm not a fan of them charging me $20 for it either.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
I think it's part of it. I think that's more it for me is like I can tell the quality's low and I'm paying pretty big bucks for it. So
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I get it.
Yeah. Jack Astor's though. I roll Jack Astor's.
Me too.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Out of those big ones, Kelsey's. I wish we'd get a Kelsey's here in Nova Scotia. That'd be nice.
That's a steakhouse, right?
No, it's more just kind of like more pub food as well. But it's
Oh.
like it's as a chain restaurant, it's like one of the better ones. I enjoy it. And a lot of them in Toronto. There was one in New Brunswick,
Oh,
but yeah, none here.
I'm a big Moxie's fan too.
Oh yeah, Moxie ain't too bad.
Yeah,
Moxie's I feel has rebranded over the years too.
definitely, 100%.
Used to be very like black and clad, and
Yeah,
you had
Now
to be
it's
dressed nice to go there.
yeah. Now it's like you don't really have to dress up to go to Moxie's.
Yeah, that's it. Moxie's had very similar vibes to the Keg.
Yeah, like the Keg feels like an outdated Moxie's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's stories about Moxie's at the Yorkdale location in Toronto. I had a bunch of like female friends who worked there. Holy smokes!
Oh, I bet.
It was a weird.
Especially at that one specifically.
Yeah, that's where all the rich people are at, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. Apparently, a manager would go home with one waitress every night. Every night, a manager's going home with a waitress.
Gee,
Weird stuff, man. Not for me.
me either.
Holy jumping! All right, well, that was a fun intro segment. Let y'all know.
A little rant.
Scene Plus coming in, coming hot. Let's go.
Go to the movies if you can afford it.
Yeah. That's why we got Scene Plus, baby.
That's right.
Just keep going to Sobeys, keep getting your groceries, and then you'll be able to afford to go to a movie.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You won't be able to get any snacks.
Dude, I can't believe how much snacks are going for there. I actually, just for kicks, just the popcorn and two sodas, man, I was like $35.
We got Cineplex, like the food for delivery the other day, because there was no good movies playing.
Right.
And you get a free movie rental with it.
Right, yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play. We like to see it.
Yeah.
But hey, inflation.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about that these days.
Yeah, it's become a buzzword on TikTok.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Doom and gloom people.
Yeah, and a lot of realtors holding on to the last bit of their career that just started 2 years ago. I think, what? It's the truth.
Such a savage.
It's the truth. There's a realtor in Toronto. His name's James in the City.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen him. And he was going on today about how realtors who just started their career 2 years ago don't understand what's happening. And
Right.
like they're unwilling to adapt, and they don't understand why buyers want to look at 14 homes because there's inventory again. And they're not used to it.
Right.
So it's like,
I just show you this one and you buy it.
you'll buy it, right? That's it. Yeah.
That's how this works.
Yeah. And so they're like shocked about that. And I mean, after the last year of buying the first thing you could for an outrageous amount of money to this in a really short period of time, to me is quite scary.
Yeah.
To me, that sounds exponentially bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about recessions is it just kills all the dead wood, gets rid of all the dead wood.
Yeah.
And you start seeing who's real and who's fake.
Yeah.
That's what I've been researching and looking into. And that's the cool thing about it. Recessions are hard. They're tough. They're gross. Especially when we're looking more into depression territory at this point. Like it's not gonna be fun. But you start realizing who is real and who's fake. You know, you had some people who were, showing off their bling. I got all this Bitcoin. I got, this beautiful new car. I got this beautiful new house. And you end up realizing whose finances are real and who was just fronting.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is very interesting because as a culture, especially in our society that is very consumerist, is very focused on consumerism, you tend to always kind of validate yourself and try to adjust yourself to who your neighbor is and what they got.
Certainly.
You're always comparing them, right? And then you start seeing when stuff actually matters, when it comes down between choosing if you're going to go out to eat or you're actually just going to get some bare groceries for that week. You find out seeing who's real.
Yeah.
And, it's like that person, he might only be able to make his mortgage payments for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And that house has got to go.
Yeah.
It's spooky. People are going to lose homes. But again, there's a lot of people who were fronting and now they're going to get caught.
Yeah. It's, especially if you're loaded up with like consumer debt.
Oh boy.
Like if your credit is maxed.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't take into account like your mortgage or your car. And things like you have to drive, you have to live.
Consumer debt is very different.
Just credit card, line of credits. I was speaking to a colleague of mine, and he was talking about how somewhere he went was like super, super busy, and just like everyone ages like, they were like 20 to 30 were just like spending. It was like at a club. It was like it was out like out downtown, and he was like, people must have paid off their line of credits during the pandemic, and they're just loading them up again. And because he was like, it's outrageous to see what these people are willing to spend every weekend. And I get it. Like, I mean, I went downtown and I did that too. I mean, it was an outrageous amount of money. Everyone does it, but I just hope it's not like being dumped on a line of credit. That's what I did.
Yeah. Just like, take it off the line of credit.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, we'll
And
see.
it was the worst mistake of my life to date.
Yeah.
100%.
I got
Dumbest
that.
thing I've done.
Just go and partying.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I knew how to fix it though.
Okay. Yeah. That's your saying.
And some people don't. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Totally.
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
For sure. But
Yeah. Especially if you're
because I have the privilege of being okay.
Yeah.
I don't regret it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be different if you were still toast on it.
Yeah.
Like, God dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. But yeah, we're gonna today we're gonna to get into what we're facing going forward. We're gonna jump into how to prepare for an economic downturn and then how to benefit in an economic downturn.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna get into all that today. So we're excited.
Most millionaires are born out of recessions.
Yep. And let that be us. The theme I keep hearing is, what are you gonna do to add your next zero?
Ooh.
I like that.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So if you're at $1,000, what's it going to take for you to get to 10,000, 100,000? If you're at 10,000, what's it going to take for you to get to 100,000? If you're 100, what's it going to take for you to get to your million? You know, so on and so forth. What is it going to take? You know, and it's about setting yourself up because, as we said, when the dead wood just gets released, there's blood in the water.
Blood in the water.
And it's time to start buying.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into all that. So first off, let's hit the first link there.
Okay.
The way our economy currently functions is unrealistic. And this is a nice little minute bit from a podcast done by Kiyosaki, you know, the Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yep.
And this is an interesting little interview piece he has here.
That's right. Instead of our economy being driven by investment and savings as it used to be, it's now driven by credit creation and consumption, and more credit creation and consumption. And that's been great. The problem is it requires credit growth to survive. If credit contracts, we have a depression. And that has made us dependent now on government borrowing and government spending to keep us out of depression.
So if you're going to buy, I mean, I don't know how many people, I took your advice. I bought a house. I'm going to make some money. I said, at the top of the frickin' market? And what about all these guys in this 401ks? 401ks came into existence in 1974. It was called ERISA. And I've been speaking out against 401ks because I will get censored with this one. But 401ks are like a condom. It gives you a false sense of security while you're being screwed. Do you know what I mean? And if this market crashes, when they raise these interest rates, if they do, you know, your 401k turns to 201k. Just as you get ready to retire, all you old guys like me, hear what I'm saying? If they raise interest rates because they're going to stop inflation, your 401k may be toast. I'm not saying it's going to happen, or if you're a millennial and you got mom and dad who are living in La La Land with their 2 401ks, you might be in serious trouble.
So that's kind of what we're facing as an economy, right? Like we used to be an economy built, and you know, I'm talking about North America, Canada, US. That we used to be an economy that built things here.
Yeah.
You bought things with cash.
Yeah.
And that's how the economy went. That's how things rolled. That's how we kind of stayed. That's how things were so prosperous, economic wise, through the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And then you see that point. I think it was in the 70s where they kind of got off the gold standard and started just kind of making the American currency the reserve currency of the world, and
Fractional reserve banking.
exactly. And then you start printing money, and then we started, as it was stated here, we became an economy completely based on credit.
Borrowing everything.
Yeah, everything. You're borrowing everything. You're renting everything.
And you'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy personally. That's it. All has to come to an end. The merry-go-round has to end at some point.
You can only rob Peter to pay Paul for so long.
Exactly. And so we had a huge issue with COVID, and so we had to borrow money to really try to get through that. Now the time to start paying it up for what we went through with COVID, and the time is here and the time is now. So
Yeah.
it's wild. And so if you think it's bad here, well, let's see what's going on across the globe. Let's go to this next video here.
Turkey's inflation rate is 73%. Argentina's inflation is 72%. Venezuela's inflation is 686%. Sri Lanka's bankrupt. Lebanon is bankrupt. Pakistan is facing bankruptcy. And Russia is defaulting on their debts. Hyper-Bitcoinization happens when the world realizes that they need to ditch corrupt government currencies for a superior one.
So wait, that last sentence was interesting. When they ditch a currency for a new one, is that what she said?
Yeah. So
Are they speaking like USD to Bitcoin?
yeah, that's kind of what she's getting at.
Ah.
Yeah. She's a Bitcoin influencer or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of her point in this video. But kind of the point I want to get out of this video is all the hyperinflation across all these different countries.
Oh, yeah.
And the bankruptcies that are happening in these different countries.
Yeah.
It's going to be a world economic disaster that we're facing. And the reason why we're kind of going through this right now is not just to, we're not here just to scare you. Our job is to convince you this is actually happening.
Yeah.
This is what's going on in the world. This is what we're facing. There's I'm trying my best to let you guys know there's no like getting around this. Like it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And
you can't pause. Yeah. You can't pause it just for you.
Yeah. Like we're not speaking out and speaking out of our butts and just saying, oh, this is gonna happen. Like this is what
your
we're
line
seeing.
of credit that's 40 grand maxed at, prime plus 1.
Yeah.
So prime's what, 1.5 right now. What are you going to do when it's 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have 7% of your line of credit a month? And then banks are funny. They'll say your minimum payment is 2% of your outstanding balance.
Yeah.
So you're getting 5% more in debt every month.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yikes.
And this hyperinflation is crazy. And so at some point, hyperinflation's got to stop.
Yeah.
And what do? Well, let's go to this the Yahoo article here. Title of the article says, it's not written in stone, but that would be my guess. Leon Cooperman joins chorus of billionaire investors warning of a U.S. recession. So this was back in April. So billionaire investor Leon Cooperman added his name this week to a growing list of Wall Street titans and investment banks predicting a recession. The former hedge fund manager said he sees a recession coming in 2023 as the Federal Reserve attempts to curb rising inflation by raising interest rates. I think the Fed has totally missed it. I think we have a lot of wood to chop, Cooperman told CNBC on Tuesday. I would think the price of oil or the Fed would push us into a recession in 2023. It's not written in stone, but that would be my guess. In March, the Fed raised its benchmark interest rate for the first time in 4 years by a quarter point as Russia's Ukraine invasion sent commodity prices soaring. Now, the central bank is whetting its appetite for a 0.5 point hike next month, as some officials call for an even faster pace of rate increases through next year. Oh, boy. Yeah. That's
wow.
Coming. That's coming.
It's coming. So Canada, ours is not called the Federal Reserve in Canada. It's called Bank of Canada, right?
Yeah.
So Bank of Canada has done 3 benchmark raises in the last 6 months.
I think so. That's accurate.
They've done 2 and announced the 3rd.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
The 3rd
yeah.
takes place next month or end of this.
Yeah, end of this one. Yeah, they're expecting half a
point.
Yeah,
they've done 0.5 point each time, right?
Really, I thought the first one was 0.25.
You're right.
Yeah,
and so was the second. So it's only gone up 0.5 so far.
Yeah.
So then after this one, it'll have gone up an entire point in under a year. 1%. 1%, I know, does not sound insane. But if you bought an $800,000 home that's worth $500,000, that's bad.
Yeah. I was talking to my mortgage broker today, and they're starting to qualify people at 7.5% for homes.
What?
Yeah, dude. So that's definitely bringing down your buying power, and like that's a big jump. They were just qualifying people for like 4%, 4.5%, this time last year. So.
I think I renewed one of my mortgages 6 months ago for 3 years.
Good.
I hope.
Yeah. it's a crazy time, right?
7%.
And so, yeah. So obviously that's also bringing down the buying power of a lot of people right now. That's why you're seeing a slowing down in the real estate market.
God forbid you're approved on a B lender.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Good luck.
And what if people bought? I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
But explain what you're thinking when you say B lender. I'm curious, like just in terms of us trying to help the listeners.
So
Your thought
when I
process.
think an A lender to me is a big five bank, like the retail banks. B lenders are like trust and mortgage companies like Home Trust Financial, credit unions, or Manulife are like B lenders. And then a C lender would be like private lends.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking like you're stressed out about B lenders because.
Well, if your A lender rate is 4, your B lender rate's probably 7, your private rate's probably 14.
Yeah, it's up between 12 and 14 now.
Yeah. So if you bought at the top of the market at a B lend, and now it goes to increase,
and you're on variable.
you're already above the
Yikes.
yikes.
Yeah. It's
This
crazy.
is so serious.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other night where going back to this idea we were talking about on this first video about how we're a society built on credit.
Yeah.
Look how everyone buys homes now.
Oh yeah.
It's all on credit, pretty much.
Yeah.
You're borrowing money to buy a house. Or that wasn't a thing back in the 60s, 70s.
Absolutely. They were, I would say, a little more attainable relative to income.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, if you're buying something that, doesn't produce cash flow, that was it typically is not a great use of credit
Right.
you use, you've locked yourself into something that you can't even use it to help yourself get out of it.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, I guess that's just my point in general is like how that's the reason why housing's gone up so much is because we moved to a credit society.
Yeah.
Where it's like, like before I was like, oh, I could buy a house for 10,000 cash.
Yeah.
That's no, like, it was like going to the grocery store for something. You're just like, oh, I'll get that one.
Now the prices are so unattainable.
Yeah. You have to borrow money to get a house. And so you borrow
And the
while you
people
live in
who
it.
can't afford to buy them outright know that mortgages make sense. Why would they get rid of all their, they know the game. So they take mortgages too, but they are taking a different mortgage then because they understand the game differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a weird one. But
And there's a lot of people who I know have likely bought like mobile homes.
mm-hmm.
Those are, I feel, a danger zone because they do not appreciate like real estate.
Yeah, even the mobile homes, right? Like through this market have been nuts. When I've seen mobile homes in Dartmouth going for like 280, 250, I'm like, yo, where are we even doing right now?
Like, I don't know how that appraised. Again, that goes back. Appraisers are jokes.
Yeah, nothing made sense.
No, there's not a mobile home worth that's used.
And you're right. Like this really does give '08 vibes because this is the exact same thing. Or people were just getting mortgages that just didn't make sense.
They just don't make sense.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have, my thing is like, if an appraiser's job, I think, is quite important. You're to protect the buyer. I think the job of the appraiser should be to protect the buyer, meaning we're going to accurately appraise the home. If it comes in less than what your mortgage is, you have to make up that difference because anything below will put you in financial harm.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just underwriting mortgages, and the appraisers every time worked out to be the exact purchase price of the home.
Right. Imagine that.
Just to make it go.
Yeah.
It's arbitrary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, things were, it's kind of what we were talking about with Cortland last week, right? There's some things that made sense and things that don't make sense. And today, a lot of things don't make sense.
They don't.
And
everyone was on for the ride, of course.
mm-hmm.
Everyone was getting approved for mortgages, and you
got their dream homes.
You wanted to be homeowners so bad that you just did whatever you could to get into one.
Yeah, because you were being told that you just saw the prices skyrocketing, so you jumped in when you could.
And you saw a select group of very, very ill-intended people scare you into buying a home.
Yeah, like I have a acquaintance in Toronto who bought literally like 4 months ago. Already, like his house has already lost value from what he paid for it.
Oh,
Here we go. It's time. The time has come, boys.
Oh man,
It's tough. So, anyways, that sucks. And so, if you're listening to this and you bought at the top of the market, well, I feel for you. Just wait it out. It always comes back, but it's gonna be if you're trying to sell it in the next couple of years, well, it's gonna be tough then.
yeah, yeah.
But and those who are looking or hoping to buy a home at some point, well, things are coming back down, and they will come back down. I believe it so, because that's the big thing. A lot of people had, will complain about, like, well, Josh, like, oh wait, the things hit the States harder than they hit here in Canada, and I was like, well, yeah, that's true, because we also had a government who was very cautious with their money.
Yeah.
This time around, we didn't have that privilege. No, we had a government who's very frivolous.
How much money in the last year?
I don't know the number, and I'm scared to even think about it.
I'm sure it's over like close to $1 trillion, is it not?
I think it's somewhere in that realm.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this time we'll be hit just as hard as the States.
Yeah.
Because we have a government that hasn't been protecting us.
Yeah, that money didn't just come from somewhere.
Yeah.
We have to pay it back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's what we're facing. And so, yeah, I do think we're going to face a pretty bad recession into depression. Yeah. We're going to experience it. And I'm watching what's happening in the States, because there's some economists who are claiming that it could be as much as a 40% correction.
Yeah. 40% on your value of your home.
Yeah. So let's do the math there. What have we been saying? If a downturn were to happen, if a crash were to happen, it would just go down to 2020 levels. That's exactly what 40% is right now from the market.
Yeah.
Is it would go down to what the prices were
like
back
February
in
2020.
Exactly. So to those who like reset buttons, this could be your reset button.
Yeah.
This could be the time for you. And now we're going to kind of get into how you set yourself up to make sure you benefit in a time that's tough financially.
Yeah. So that way you can be ready.
And again, this is just us talking to people who are a lot smarter than us, and talking to people who have been through it. And we're just got some great intel from them, and we're just relaying it back to you. This is not from our own experiences.
Yeah.
This is just by people that we've been just picking their brain and trying to understand it. All right. So how to prepare for an economic downturn. Let's get into it.
All right.
First thing is anticipate. Anticipate where the economy is going. Kind of take your tunnel vision glasses off and kind of see what's happening on a macroeconomic level.
Yeah.
And see where money's going, what governments are doing, and see kind of general flows of the market. Anticipate what's going to happen. Second is, especially on this podcast, we're guilty of it, but it's time to move from the mentality of cash is trash to now cash is king.
Absolutely. This is like the time you want to have like money ready.
You want to be liquid, because we said a lot of people are going to start selling things off. Things are starting to become more available on the market.
Yeah. The triplex that someone bought for like $700,000 in like Truro.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all going to start going down, and you want to have cash in your bank so that you can just jump on that opportunity.
Yeah. Because this is also, as smart as we think we are, Killam is smarter.
Yeah.
CapREIT is smarter. All these national landlords are smarter. And this is when companies like them, and the one that we did the episode on, that owns 3,000 single family homes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the name. Yeah.
This is when they thrive. This is when they start buying communities.
Yeah.
Don't let them win. Don't let them win.
Fight.
They can't have this one. They can't.
This one's for you.
Yeah.
This one's for us. All right.
Yeah.
They can bug off. This one's ours.
So you if you have the ability to be ready, this is when you want cash.
Exactly. And so how do we get there, Josh? Well, right now, I would avoid major purchases like real estate or a car. We're going to see some big moves downward within the next 6 to 18 months. So if you're looking for a home, you're still like the prices are still not right there yet.
Yeah.
Give it another 6 to 8 months, and you'll start seeing things start trending downward.
I mean, we're seeing price changes daily.
Yeah. And again, this is like a personal opinion, but based on what I'm seeing in the market, it's going to happen. So this is, again, I'm just speaking for myself. This is what we're doing right now is, I luckily enough, 3 months ago, refied my home, pulled the cash out at the highest peak of the market and got the max I could get out for it.
Yeah.
And people are thinking, Josh, that was a really dumb move, because now when things go down, you're going to be out, $70K if you try to sell your home. I'm like, well, luckily I'm not trying to sell it. I'll be renting it. And it's still very much at levels that will support rentals, even in a downward market.
Yeah.
So happy about that. So anyways, I still have the cash in hand now. So now I'm fully liquid, ready to go with some assets in hand. So when things start going downward, I'm ready to jump.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. And so the same for you. You got to take it, take and understand what's going on in your world. What do you have? What can you liquidate? What can you help you have just kind of cash in hand to be ready to start jumping on opportunities?
Because the worst thing that can happen is there's an opportunity, your money's tied up in something. The world has a strange way of making sure that when the pressure's on, you can't liquidate.
Yeah.
Something will block you, and you can't run from banks. You have to tell them the truth. You know, they're going to find out anyway. So, you know, if you can refi a home now at a good interest rate, that's low-ish for a little bit, so you have the cash. Think of your home as a bank account, you know, and use it for something good. Do not use your home equity line of credit to buy vacations and things that generate no return, because that's not this is not the time to do that. Certainly not the time to do that.
Exactly.
And you know, watch what you put on your credit card. If you don't have the cash for that purchase, it doesn't go on a credit card.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Obviously there's extenuating circumstances, but goodness, if you can avoid it.
Exactly. I think it goes right into your point. You know, we talked about everything will be on sale, so stay liquid so you can adapt and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah.
Next is that you just said there, cut the excess crap from your life.
Yeah.
As Dalton was saying, this is not the time to book the frivolous vacation. This is not the time to just go on going out every weekend.
Yeah.
It's not the time to do that. Now is the time to start just figuring out what extra crap is just kind of you're accumulating in life, and how can you end that spending?
Yeah.
How can you just really just get down to a lean budget and what you can afford, and stick to that.
Yeah.
And any excess cash, you keep it and ready to jump at the next opportunity. Because what's going to happen is you're going to see, if you're over leveraged in this market, you're going to lose your assets. So now it's the time right now to figure out, okay, if you're over leveraged, you need to get out of those opportunities right now, because you'll at least get something back for your asset now.
Yeah.
In a time where things are going south, you might not get much back for it. So it's a good idea if you're over leveraged now and you know you're over leveraged, it's time to start moving on that now.
If at all you just neutral and you don't win or don't lose, that's better, because at least you're at the starting line.
Yeah.
But you don't have if you just need to get out, you don't have to make a profit. But it's probably better to get out than when the home is only going to sell for $300 and you bought it for $5.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's a tough one.
If you can get $475 right now,
I would get it.
Yeah.
I would definitely get it. A big thing we keep hearing as well, it's not something I ascribe to personally, but I know it's apparently something that people should be doing, is buying precious metals. That's something people, gold, silver, people have been really starting to purchase those up. So think about that. Look at some options for yourself if that's right for you.
Yeah.
Those would be good, because those tend to hold their value through tough times in the market.
Yeah.
And this is the time to take a step back, understand your finances, your budget, where money's going, just get an idea of where you're at and what you can cut, so that you can just really make sure that you are as lean as possible, as we said, and you can afford to move quickly on great opportunities, or two, you don't lose anything through this time either.
Yeah.
So,
and what really helped me, because it took me forever to learn how to make a budget and understand my spending, especially because I do take advantage of different credit card programs. So that can be challenging when it's across different bills and everything. I literally had to print out 3 months of each credit card, bank account, everything, and go through it like by pen,
right,
to see where my money was going. But you don't miss anything. And it's very interesting to see, like, how you don't think, well, not you, but how I didn't think, like an Uber Eats bill. Yeah. Oh, it's $30, whatever. That's a lot at the end of 3 months. A lot of money, man.
Yeah.
And right now, maybe your best time to Uber Eats, because it's almost as expensive as groceries. You might as well have someone cook for you, because groceries are just as hard to obtain at the moment for some reason. Groceries are through the roof. But yeah, you gotta look at your spending. You can't, especially someone like with ADHD. A typical thing to do is like, don't look at it.
Right.
If you don't look at it, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Oh baby, it's happening.
Totally.
It's happening, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
So you gotta fix it. immediately.
Yeah, get it in control. Figure out what's going on.
And sometimes it was hard for me to admit I have an ego. Definitely. Not like about certain things, but this was one of them where it's like, I think I've got an ego with finances, with like my business and things like that. Like things I think I really have an understanding of, I take personally when I realize I don't.
Right.
It was a gut punch to realize like, I got to work on these. But you gotta.
Right.
You know, it's not going to get better because you feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it's definitely a time where you have to take responsibility for yourself and your family.
Yeah, I spent the money.
Yeah.
I screwed up.
You know, and you gotta look yourself in the mirror, like, okay, you know, it's done. Wash your hands of it. Now move forward. How are we gonna get better?
Yeah, you can't undo it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just move forward, right?
Yeah.
And get ready for a very life-changing moment. This is probably gonna be by far the craziest moment that we'll ever see in our lifetimes. And it's an opportunity to make some money, make good money, and really, really transform your future. 100% believe that.
It could beyond making a ton of money, it could buy you at least lifelong stability.
Yeah.
Which for some people is all they need. And there's an opportunity to potentially do that.
100%. I mean, yeah, I'll speak personally too. Like right now, I see this as the opportunity that I can buy my family dream home.
Yeah.
And that's going to be where we live the rest of our lives.
Right.
Like this is the opportunity for us right now that we're looking at. And I'm making sure we are in a position to make sure we execute on it.
Yeah.
You know,
you have to do right by your family and yourself.
Exactly.
So yeah, you have to. All right. So I want to get into
so how to benefit in an economic downturn. So we talked about how to prepare for when it happens. So now it's time to
pretend it's happening.
Yeah. Pretend it's happening. It's here.
What are we doing?
How do we act on it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
First things first, focus on the future. Don't be sentimental about yesterday.
Absolutely.
There's so many times it happened. It happened to me too. Being halfway through the pandemic, I saw all the prices going up on real estate. I was like, oh, I wish I bought that house 3 years ago. Dang it. You know, there's a lot of like that mentality and like, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
That's not going to help you in a downturn. Like, oh man, remember a couple of years ago, we could have done this. Well, yeah, so be it. And that's not there. Yeah. Life is happening before you. This is what's happening. So it's down to get real with yourself as we're talking about and how we can start executing and how we can start kind of benefiting from what's happening.
Yeah.
And life is going to be tough too. Like we were talking about, you're going to see friends suffer. You're going to see family going through tough times. You're obviously trying to make sure you're in a position to help them if you can. But like, yeah, it's time to like take the blinders off. It's time to start running.
Yeah.
And get this thing going, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So keep an eye out. We talked about, throughout this time, those typical YouTubers, TikTok guys like us, those homies.
With the Rolls Royce and the mansion and
exactly
everything in between.
The arrogant, the prideful, those who are front runners, all the over leveraged people will be filtered out. That's the beauty of a free economy.
Yep.
Is they will all be shown for what they are. We'll see, as they said, it's like when the tide goes out, we'll see who's having pants on is what they say, right?
Yeah.
You'll find out very quickly. All those guys will be gone, and you'll see what was real money and what was fake. And
all the things they leave behind.
Yep. Will be.
That's the blood in the water, man.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
there for the taking.
It's up for grabs, and we'll see who's there and who isn't, right? For you, as you go through a tough time, make sure you upgrade your skill set to make sure you are absolutely indispensable to your employer. Because what happens when money starts shrinking? Well, people get fired. People lose their jobs.
Yeah.
It happens. Layoffs happen, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say fired. Layoffs happen. And the people that get laid off first are the ones they don't find to be that useful.
Yeah.
So make sure you are upgrading your skill set. Make sure you can do 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are very well. So that they can be like, we're going to have to let go of this person instead of you. Because we can't afford to lose him. We need that skill set with us.
Yeah.
Very important. So that you can keep your money coming in.
Yeah.
You can keep kind of building up that nest egg. And again, you will still have the ability to act in a tough time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of people, for example, who started small businesses during the pandemic because they had the time. Let's say you are a web developer, like what I do. You don't need 100 web development agencies in the middle of a recession.
Mm-hmm.
No one's buying those services when money's tight.
Yeah.
Their website's fine for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
They don't need an overhaul. So if all you offer as a sole proprietor is web development, you gotta, you have to broaden your horizon. There may be services that businesses do need during a recession.
Yeah.
But find what you're good at, find the services you can offer with what you're good at, and just try and broaden your offerings, your services, if you do work for yourself during this time, because being a one-stop shop for a bunch of things will do you way better than just knowing how to do one thing.
Just funny because that's like the opposite advice that we've been given the past couple of years.
Yeah, well, because in a market where everyone's got the money,
Exactly.
be really good at one thing and charge the most you can for it.
Yeah. And now it's changing.
Here, it's you got to offer a bunch so you can at least take the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
100%. The thing I like about these types of conversations and us going through all this is, and even having a podcast like this, is that there's going to be a record of it. The fact that our kids are going to look back on this 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and be like, oh, that's what dad was doing during this time, I love that we were able to kind of like, we'll get to look back and see
like
if we're right, let's see if we were right or wrong. It's cool.
And I think Gary Vee said this once, when you're proposed with making a decision, it's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
And he never thinks about what would have happened if he went with the other.
Right.
Because he didn't. The reality is he picked something.
Yeah.
So, through upgrading your skill set or learning about something. So, for example, if you want to own a home, understanding what home buying takes, understanding what investment property buying takes.
Yeah.
So that way you can make the best decision you can when the opportunity's there. And then once you've made the decision, it's done.
Yeah.
The bank does not care that you've got cold feet. Your insurance company doesn't care that you should have shopped around. Know what to expect, know what you should be paying for things, and then be ready to go. And once you made the decision, you made the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like the I enjoy the story of the Chinese farmer. It's always it's a fairly famous one. I guess I'll say it now since it's news to you. You'll probably recognize it as I say it, but it's essentially it's a Chinese farmer who had a horse run away on him. And everyone in his village was, oh, man, I'm so sorry, man. Like, it sucks that you lost your horse. It's unfortunate. He's like, yeah, we'll see. Then 2 days later, the horse comes back, but it brought back 10 wild horses with it. And everyone's like, oh, man, good thing your horse came back. That's awesome. Brought back all these wild horses. This is great. This is awesome for you. He's like, yeah, we'll see. And then one day his son was tending to one of the wild horses in the yard, and it jumped and broke his leg. Everyone's like, oh, man, that stinks. Those horses that came back, one of them broke your son's leg. He's like, yeah, we'll see. And then weeks go by, and the army's going by and knocking on doors, looking for people to be enlisted to go into the military. But his son couldn't go because his leg was broken. And again, the whole point of the story is when things happen, it may not be right or wrong. It just is.
It just is.
And you just got to be surrendered to whatever your decision you've made.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And sometimes you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cards fall where they may.
Exactly. Yeah, be okay with it.
Yeah. Find that inner peace.
Exactly.
Do whatever you have to do to find inner peace. Because you can either go through this life pissed off that it's not going exactly to your plan, or recognize that there's no such thing as a plan.
Yeah.
You can just try your best to navigate what comes your way.
It's a famous Mike Tyson quote, right? Everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
And that's what this is going to be for a lot of people. You're going to get punched in the mouth, and you got to be ready for it. So once you taste your own blood, what you going to do?
That's right.
Here we go.
That's right.
So last but not least, find positive influences of people who can run with you.
Yeah, you don't need friends who are telling you to stop, to slow down, that you're thinking too big.
Yeah.
This is not the time to think small.
Yeah, screw them. Done with those homies. That's obviously
If they don't want to level up with you, then leave them.
Yeah.
Behind.
Go find someone who will run with you. Those who think like you, who want to be better.
And
be
you'll
more
win
improved.
together.
Yeah. It's great. That's what we are for each other. We also have multiple mentors in our lives too that help us do those things.
Yeah.
It's important to, not be around people that are who just don't think that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So not here for it.
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with the people. who you want to be. You
Exactly.
know, billionaires don't hang out with chumps.
No, that's true.
For what? We all know why.
Yeah.
You know, so just think like that.
Exactly. And we're always here. You know, if anyone has any questions about budgets and stuff.
None of that means we're too good to talk about anything.
Yeah,
We have
exactly.
the Discord. We'll talk about anything.
Yeah. And those who are concerned or have questions, the Discord's, obviously it's, it's been a little dry lately, but that's on us. We'll need to start picking it back up. We've been really busy.
Yeah, it's also a learning curve. Like,
Yeah, we've been learning how to run a Discord channel too.
Yeah.
But please, throw anything in there. We will respond.
Yeah.
And if you have questions about budgets, how to set one up, how to kind of figure those things out, we'll definitely field those questions and answer them as best we can.
Yeah.
We are here for it. So, yeah. And the last but not least, before we end this segment,
Yeah. I don't know.
don't do this. I think in the things we've been talking about, I love that Apple has officially advertised this in their newest OS update.
Oh, is this the? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's press play here.
In addition to expanded acceptance, we're also enhancing Apple Pay to support new types of payments. So, we're thrilled to announce Apple Pay Later. Apple Pay Later lets you split the cost of an Apple Pay purchase into 4 equal payments spread over 6 weeks with 0 interest and no fees of any kind. And Apple Pay Later is available everywhere Apple Pay is accepted, in apps and online. You can now get that espresso machine you've wanted and pay for it over time with no additional
I'm sorry, if you can't get the
cost.
$100
For
espresso
developers
machine,
and
you shouldn't be buying it.
merchants, Apple Pay Later requires no integration. It just works using their standard Apple Pay implementation. Upcoming payments are managed through Wallet, making it easy to keep track of what's due when and to stay within a budget.
Because
And after you've placed your order,
Yikes. So just like PayBright or Klarna.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's some more credit for your troubles.
what's worse is it's like credit twice.
I
Because
know.
you've made an agreement with Apple Pay Later and an agreement with your credit card.
Yeah.
If you couldn't pay, what?
Oh man, that has to be only for the Apple credit card. That has to be, I imagine.
No. Apple Pay Later. So it's just whatever. So it's like,
Interesting.
it's like when you sign up for an agreement with Afterpay, it's like at each time, say you shop on a website like the Goat app that you buy sneakers on, lets you pay with Apple Pay.
Right.
There'd be a button that says Apple Pay Later. You pick the credit card you want to use with it, and it will bill your credit card 4 different times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they must be paying your
So Apple pays them,
Apple, and then they collect
and
from
then
you.
they bill you 4 times, and then you have to pay your credit card.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, not here for it.
If you can't do the full purchase,
Yeah, especially that example he used was $100 espresso machine.
was it $100?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it was bad.
Oh. Because to be honest, like if you're starting a coffee shop and you have the opportunity to finance like this, your professional, probably $5,000 espresso machine, into 4 payments, makes business sense because you're doing something that's going to cash flow to pay for it.
Yeah.
But not for your personal like Keurig.
Yeah, please.
Oh no.
Please just buy it
Oh
off.
no.
If you don't have the $100, don't be paying for it. Sorry.
Oh no.
Holy jumping. Speaking of cutting dead wood. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Holy jumping. Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was funny. So last but not least, cool idea that came across. This is something I'm using personally when it comes to if you are a couple and you have a partner. There's always that argument, right? The traditional people are just like, you need to make sure your finances are always together. You do everything together. I'm learning there's actually a benefit to keeping everything separate.
Yeah.
And we're going to look at that right here.
This is why you keep everything separate from your spouse. Why not have your wife co-sign? Just trust me. Now you guys need a car, so she gets a car in her name. Why not both? The bank wants you to co-sign. Don't co-sign. Keep it separate. And here's why. Now it's your wife's turn to get a property. So what do? You see if she qualifies for herself, but no, her DTI is too high. So you take that piece of crap car and you throw it in your name. Now she has clean DTI and she can qualify for an investment property by herself. Time goes on, a whole year. A lot of people are confused with my consultations why they're a 2-3 year game plan. It's because it takes time for this to season. Year 2, you're ready for your first investment property. The bank doesn't see all this crap because you throw the car back in her name. Now you get that investment property. You wait a full year, Meanwhile, you take the car back. She's clean as a whistle. It's been a year or two. Now she can qualify for her first investment property. She just needs 20% down.
So on and so forth. Like,
Interesting. Yeah.
it's a shell game, right? Like,
Yeah.
the banks want to play that game. We can play that game too.
Yeah.
And what the point he's getting across is, you know, like if you got a car under your name and you want to get that house, but your debt to income ratio is really killing you because the debt is
Yeah.
not helpful, then you can move that car into someone else's name. You just go sole on the house and purchase the house under your own name.
Yeah.
Because you look clean. These are things that you can do that can help execute.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing everything together.
Yeah. I agree. I think there's there's something to be said for it. And, you know, I think it just allows for, a less toxic relationship too.
Yeah.
Fighting about money's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, do obviously what's best for you. I've always been a huge, I'm one of them. I was always a huge proponent of keeping everything together. Just because, that's, I guess, is more of a spiritual answer. Like, I just prefer to be unified and us kind of everything's out in the open. And no one's like spending money secretly. That was like the bill comes like, wait, what's going on? Why we have this much debt? But as you said, it's a trust thing, right? Luckily for me, I'm in a marriage where I trust my wife that she would never do that anyways.
Right.
So we can easily just keep things separately.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Because it makes the most sense at this point. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind if you got partners at this point and you're trying to purchase a home. It's an idea. Last but not least, we got a wildcard segment. It's something I came across on TikTok. We're just going to go with the PvP. And your favorite man, your boy,
gosh.
he's got something to say about being a man. No, I'm just kidding. Just being a person in this world.
Okay. Let's see.
They think that they come up with bullshit like work-life balance and, well, there's no point working if you don't enjoy yourself and all this other fucking shit, and they remain lazy. And the problem is that the world we live in is player versus player. If you go play Call of Duty, right? It's PvP. You want to live, you got to kill that guy.
Yep.
He's some fucking 14-year-old in Singapore. He might commit suicide if he loses one more game. Don't care. Sniped. Boom. See ya. Had a nice life. Tangent. You're...
I was like, yo, what?
My gosh. He's unhinged. He just says anything on the internet.
Yeah, he'll say it.
He's like a fever dream.
Yeah, he is.
He's an NPC.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. He just says things like that.
See ya, tangent. You're gone.
That's L.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What a guy.
He's funny. You know what? I've learned to find comedy in what he does. It's funny.
The thing I found with him too is because I came across one video of his that was like actually very heartfelt and actually really down to earth. And I'm like, he really is just putting on a persona at this point.
Yeah, I think 100%.
Yeah. Because some stuff he does is crazy. So,
yeah. I think he knows.
Yeah.
And it's making him money.
I mean, he's got millions of followers for it. Too.
Yeah. See, he knows what he's doing.
Shut at Your Mom's House podcast. That was his how he got
fame.
famous. Yeah, 100%. It's because of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. And it's funny to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. What's going
Boom.
on?
Man, the numbers are blowing you up tonight.
Gosh, man. It's Microsoft. I reset my Windows laptop. Couldn't do it. Hate it. Don't want anything to do with it anymore. And so I was wiping it to sell it. And in classic Windows fashion, when I wiped it and it turned back on, it blue screened. And the SSD and the operating system corrupted.
Classic.
And so I called them to try and do it. And they were like, does this work? Does this work? And I did all the things. And they were like, and I was like, no, it doesn't. And they were like, well, are you sure you're doing it right? And I'm in my mind, I'm going, I'm 100. Yes. Yes.
I'm a developer.
Yeah. I promise I'm doing it right. And then they were like, well, then you could try loading operating system onto a USB and trying to reinstall it, but it might not work. I was like, okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And now they keep calling and I'm just over it.
Yeah.
It's just a paperweight now. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll get to it eventually, but
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, that was a good show, man.
Yeah, you know what? It was maybe dark, dreary, whatever you want to call it, but it's important.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to do this episode specifically for the homies, those who have been longtime listeners, and
you've heard us go through so many trends of talking about real estate and money, and it's just like to listen to it all the way. It's crazy where we're at now.
Exactly. So we just wanted to give you the benefit of what we're learning, what we're growing in.
Yeah.
You can, decide to take it or leave it. You can think we're crazy. I think it's great.
Yeah, we're
whatever.
not financial advisors, so you don't have to believe us.
Yeah. We're just kind of explaining to you what we're doing and how we're going to try and navigate this crisis that we see coming upon us. So
that's right.
Awesome. So whatever it is you're doing, whether you be trying to, I don't know, go to work.
Or buy your first home.
Oh, we're playing COD.
True.
Playing COD.
Oh, no.
Snight! Whatever it is you're doing.
Wherever you are.
We love you.
We're out.
Peace.